and I will show you the heart of what is truly one of the finest races in the history of the 500, if not the finest, and many will say it is. And we will take you live to the victory party on the north side of Indianapolis, and that's a live picture of that right now for one of sport's most respected participants tonight. Before the race itself, Jim, and before we get it going, an interesting 500 field. No defending champion and three brothers in this one.
Most interesting. Of course, we followed the Bobby Unser situation very closely up until the time he announced he wasn't going to race. I'm wondering, after all the developments that we're going to show in this program tonight, what Unser is thinking this evening.
Not Unser. I'm wondering what Mario Andretti has to think about it, too. Let's get started. The cars of 33 were wheeled out of Gasoline Alley this morning, too. A lot of anticipation. You can always feel the electricity. I think this is one of the finest moments in all of sports.
Yes, it is. I had trouble sleeping last night. I was so pumped up for this. It's been a whole month gearing up for this, and we're talking about the drivers. The announcers get psyched, too. Yeah,
this is Pete Halsberg climbing into the Channel 8 special. They were put into their proper spots on the track and awaited the command, 13,500 balloons.
Is that exactly 13,500?
There, from the widow of the late Tony Holman, the command. Well, starting the engines wasn't too easy for Tom Sneva. Look at the left part of your screen there. He had trouble getting it going. George Bignani must have had some anxious moments there.
Yes, and there were some problems for Rick Mears early. We saw this in turn one, and I think we might have had some reason there to fear some problems.
You know, that really surprised me as we were standing in turn one. But as they got the first parade lap in, you could see the field of 33 is developing. It's bunching up nicely, slowing down. I think that is an important thing. You are going to see, hear, and read a lot about the fact that this was a slow parade lap.
Yes, very much. Of course, that draws some criticism, which we'll talk about later, but that's a very interesting point to bring up this particular juncture, because we were looking at this and we were saying to each other, what's wrong?
You could almost feel it. As standing in turn one as we were, you could see that something was about to happen. Well, unfortunately, on that lap, something did happen. Fortunately, tonight, everything is okay in the end. But in the beginning, this is supposed to be the first lap of the race. We're supposed to see the green flag. But we won't see the green flag. What you will see, in the middle of row one, you will see Kevin Cogan lose control, and there. That's the Whittington car being involved in that point. Roger Mears was also involved. Mario Andretti was also involved. Those four drivers were unable to continue. In fact, those four drivers were unable to start the race because we did not drop the green flag. That's important. As you see, there was Cogan's car, there was Andretti's car. The race was red flagged after this, no green flag at all, and A.J. Foyt was hot as a pistol.
It was either a mechanical failure, which caused the car to go straight right. There are tire marks on the right side of my car, right where it would make me do that. Where, in other words, if somebody's tire hit there and hit my right rear, it would cause me to go to the right. So that could be the other. It's one of two things.
Did you get an early indication there was something wrong with your car?
The car was fine, just accelerated smoothly, and just went instantly to the right.
What did AJ say to you immediately when he came up with you?
I'd rather not say. I'd rather wait and see the film.
All I know is I seen Andretti in the fence, and I got pulled off the left, got slowed down, everything was under control, and Dale Whittington run over me like they dropped a green flag. That's all I know.
The front row, Mears being in charge, didn't keep pace with the pace car and stay up to him and then let the pace car pull away from him. And four, he laid back. We were very slow. I could have been in low gear myself, and I'm sure that's what happened to Kevin. We were going slow enough, he had it in low, and when he stepped on the throttle to go, it just lit the tires up and he lost it.
Have you ever seen anything like this happen?
Well, we've seen a few things like this happen here, of course, on starts at Indy, but it just was really uncalled for.
The main thing in the driver's meeting, they say don't jack around and get the rows jacked out of shape. You know, don't run your speeds up and down and get the rows all mixed up. They want to keep a nice, tidy pack coming around, so when the pace car took off, they said give the pace car plenty of time to get away. I gave the pace car time to get away. We picked our speed up a little bit, and I didn't do it enough to jack anybody out of shape, just kept it nice and even. But if they want a faster start, next time we'll give them a faster start.
But regardless how the leader brings the field down, whether you agree one way or another, it's still our responsibility to do the best job with what we have there. And it's quite obvious that Cogan just lit up the rear tires, and it's something you just don't do because the car is just going to spin on a straight line. This is exactly what he did.
Okay, Jim Barber, hypothetical. You're Mario Andretti, and you're sitting in Indianapolis tonight. Last year, you raced very gallantly, and then you get involved in that mess. This year, you don't even get to go into turn one. You don't even get to take the green flag. Are you sour on Indianapolis?
You're confused, you're angry. Yes, I think you are. You're bitter. I don't think you'll give it up. You'll come back again next year and say, let's get rid of this snake-bitten type of thing that's happening, but yes, you are sour.
Okay, very good. We'll get back and we will actually start the race. Believe it or not, it did start and it was great. We'll show it to you.
Give your home a fresh start this spring with quality True Test paint, now specially priced during National True Test Spring Paint Week at True Value Hardware stores. Their finest acrylic latex house paint now comes in 3 finishes. Choose Weatherall Flat for $11.98 a gallon, new satin finish Weatherall for $12.98 a gallon, or lustrous Weatherall Gloss Finish for $13.98 a gallon during National True Test Spring Paint Week, exclusively at participating True Value Hardware stores and home centers.
The cost of running a car goes up every day, but the cost of insuring a car doesn't have to with J.C. Penney Insurance. Our low rates could save you up to $50 a year from the minute you insure with us. Then after 3 years of safe driving, even if you cause an accident, we won't run up your rates because of it. Pennywise protection. Whatever happens, it's insurance for the smart driver.
Get ready. Here it comes. The Burger Chef 500. Get your scorecard, collect stickers, and take off. Finish the race and win one of 6 Camaro Z28 styled like the 1982 Indy 500 pace car. Or win over 400,000 instant prizes. The Burger Chef 500. The race anybody can win. So enter today. Kelly Harrison of Anderson, Indiana, just won her Camaro Z28. There have been thousands of winners of thousands of prizes. You could still win one, too, at Burger Chef.
You're looking at the 2 best reasons I take good care of my brakes. They're why I go to Midas on a regular basis. Midas inspects brakes the right way. I pull the wheel. If anything needs doing, I know it gets done right. Some people say I'm overly cautious, but I don't think so. I just feel better going to Midas.
Where nothing but the best is ever gonna do. Trust the Midas touch.
Now let's actually start the race, which will go off with 29 cars this time. And a lot of drivers, though, they might feel a little pressured by the fact that 4 cars are already out before we take the green flag. I didn't hear that from any of them, did you?
Not at all. They were really concentrating on getting the show underway, especially at this point because of what had happened earlier.
Now let's watch this. Now this will actually be the green flag. Now watch what A.J. Foyt does. He's on the outside of row 1 here. A.J., everyone knows, in the Valvoline Gilmore special. But watch what he does. He was biting nails in the first part there, on the first start, blaming Kevin Kogan. Now watch what he does. He said, okay, Rick Mears, okay, everybody, I'm going to jump out and jackrabbit in front of you.
In a newspaper article, Mears says this is what he likes to do. He likes to get out in front.
Well, he ran into some problems, which we'll develop further. Speaking of problems, Jose Garza had them today.
Yes, he did, many, and it's unfortunate. It's been that way throughout the entire Speedway, and today, no different.
Well, the car was working very good, you know, in the parade laps and in the first start. And the engine just let go, just that lap.
It's been a difficult up and down type of speedway for you, hasn't it, for the last few weeks?
It has, but it'll pay off because I'm going to win this, baby.
Well, it'll take that kind of enthusiasm, too. Enthusiasm is abundant for Pete Halsmer, although results haven't been there in this Indianapolis 500. He had problems, and I talked with him about it.
We had some transmission trouble. I don't know exactly what it was, but we couldn't get it out of gear on the pit stops, and so it was killing the motor on us. And then finally the second pit stop, we couldn't get it back in. It's just something internally.
It's unfortunate because other than a good day of qualifying, when you had a solid qualifying run, it's been a very hard month for you guys from the top of the crew right on down.
It has been. It seems to be a lot of little stuff going wrong, and I think it's just a matter of planning. You know, you can look back and you can see the things you should have done. I think we should have been a little better prepared. Unfortunately, we weren't, but I think this gives us a whole year of doing some running in the kart series and really getting ready for next year. I'm really looking forward to that.
And of all of the agonizing moments of the race, perhaps this was the single most agonizing for that man, A.J. Foyt. Jim, the early leader, he ran out, he set a first lap record, he led the race repeatedly, and then trouble.
I think he gave early indications that he'd be tough to handle, but because of what happened earlier, even before the race, there were problems that were starting to conjure up, and that was really going to set the tempo, I guess, for the rest of the race.
The sequence we are showing you here, we'll bring him into the pits, and we'll show you. This is very rapid for A.J., and obviously because it's very rapid, it's very rare. Not the fact that the pit stop is fast, the fact that he kept going in and out of the pits with problem after another problem. Problems that he seemed to link later to the incident at the beginning of the race. Okay, he leaves the pits here. Now he comes back in again. This time he overshoots his pit spot. And it's just been one of those frustrating days for AJ. He just couldn't get it. You see here, his crew manages to pull him back. And this time, when they couldn't solve the problem, old AJ got out himself and kind of tossed in the wrench when nothing really got up and kind of unzipped the uniform. That had been it for AJ Foyt after running almost brilliantly. I'll call it brilliantly. And we had a chance to hear from him, and he wasn't too happy.
Well, they locked in gear. The biggest thing happened was a wreck this morning when a guy pulled a stupid trick.
And it was that got into the mechanics of the car that caused you to fail now?
That didn't cause the transmission because it's the handle very poor all day long. I was pushing the front end and having to fight it, and that was the biggest thing wrong, so we never got the toe in set properly.
Unfortunately, he'll have to wait for number 5. What about the wrecks today? There were a few. Fortunately, no one was injured. We'll be back in a minute.
I'm Burley Haywood. Our race team has over $100,000 invested in this race car, so we protect our investment with Kendall Motor Oil.
I don't drive a race car, but I have a big investment of my own to protect. So I use Kendall Superb 100 gas-saving motor oil. Its special friction fighters keep my car running smooth and help save gas. You don't have to own a race car to need Kendall protection. You just have to own a car.
Protect your investment with Kendall Confidence.
Sure wear them down, Mr. Vedder.
You got to pound the old pavement in every little town to stay ahead, right?
My company has Watts.
No, I'm talking about sales.
We call it telemarketing. With Bell Watts lines to service customers, sales go up and the cost of selling goes down.
Like keeping your foot in the door.
Without wearing down the shoe leather.
Smart guy. Been shining his shoes a long time?
Years. The same pair. Watts. It's another way to get things done today.
Nothing nails tall weeds like Roundup herbicide through a pipe wick. And now you can get a coupon for a free gallon of Roundup when you order a pipe wick kit for only $79.95. You can assemble your pipe wick kit in only a few hours. It's a $210 value. You save $130. See your dealer or call 800-453-4000 for your pipe wick kit and a coupon for a free gallon of Roundup. That's 800-453-4000.
Get ready. It's starting. The race is on. The Burger Chef 500. Get your scorecard, collect stickers, and take off. Finish the race and win the grand prize, one of 6 Camaro Z28 styled like the 1982 Indy 500 base car. Or win instant prizes like racing jackets, digital sport watches, high-power binoculars, and food. Over 400,000 prizes. The Burger Chef 500. The race anybody can win. So enter today and make it fast.
The potential of the first lap incident didn't materialize into a horror show, but there were some tense moments for a number of drivers and a number of crews today. Tony Bettenhausen spins here in the stretch gym, and that seemed to interrupt a nice strong flow of green light racing.
Yes, fortunately no injuries today, but let me tell you what I think is important, Ed, quickly, is the fact that the rookie orientation, again for the second straight year, allows for some fine driving on the part of the rookies, and I think really helped keep the accidents.
Excuse me, this is Danny Ungaius in the number 25 Interscope Racing Special. Dramatically different from his incident a year ago, and we'll show you in a second a shot of him getting out. This is Jerry Sneva, who was also at the same time engulfed in this, but I think this is the best shot of the day. Look at this. Danny Ungaius is smiling, he's out, he's happy, he's walking. Well, not happy, certainly, because he's out of the race, but what a difference it can make for that man.
Eliminate a psychological barrier, perhaps?
Yeah, he may have very much done that. This is George Snyder rolling into the infield of the number 35 Cobra Tire Special. It was the car that would have been assigned to the late Gordon Smiling, and George manages to get out. So the incidents, again, though there were a few, and we did have the moments to slow down the actual racing, it didn't materialize in anything too bad. Tom Sneva, I thought he had it for a while. I thought he had it today.
That's because he's the man who had finished second 3 times, and everybody's thinking this is the year for Sneva.
In fact, he told you earlier this week that I've had enough finishing second. This is going to be first. And when he was running first, right there, I thought he had it here. But Rick Mears, you know, he had been criticized earlier in the race, and you heard earlier by Johnny Rutherford. He stuck by his guns. He made his position and point made, hung out there, re-led this race in, reset it up, got involved, and stayed there as Foyt ran in front, and then he ran in front, and then Tom Sneva came in front, and then we had, of course, the classic duel in the end, which did it. Now, here is an agonizing pit stop, though, first, by Tom Sneva, one which might have put him out.
Oh, definitely. What, 55 seconds?
Yes, almost a minute. And it's a bad one, and it's one of them that we had a chance to talk to Tom Sneva about. And he wasn't critical of the crew, and we're not trying to be critical of the crew here at all. But what we're saying is this: in a late stage, when Tom Sneva is running well and running strongly, a pit stop like this he doesn't need, but he felt the racing had been extremely competitive.
We just had one bad one is all. You know, we had the fueling valve stick one time, and other than that, we had good stops. And, you know, I don't think that hurt us that much. If it wasn't for the tires at the end, I think we could have given him a run for it.
Other than that pace lap, we'd have to say it's one of the best races we've ever seen. From your standpoint, what kind of race was it?
Well, it was a good one, you know. It wasn't, everybody used their head pretty well after that second restart, and it was obviously very competitive at the end. I just wish I could have been in there with those two and make it even a better show.
It was a good one. It was a great one. We'll show you Victory Lane in a minute.
Wow. Some people think a ball player would be lost out of uniform. Don't you believe it. As long as I've got my Levi Garrett with me, I can handle any sport. I think Levi Garrett's the best taste of chewing tobacco I ever tried. And you'll be saying it too, every time you enjoy that great taste in loose leaf or plug. Whoa! So whether you're pitching a big game or landing big game, get the best taste in chewing tobacco I ever tried. Levi Garrett.
Give your home a fresh start this spring with quality True Test paint, now specially priced during National True Test Spring Paint Week at True Value Hardware stores. Begin your decorating with the walls using Satin Hue Flat Latex, just $10.98 a gallon. Then cover woodwork and trim with Marble Luster Latex Semi-Gloss at $12.98 a gallon. Both come in the same perfectly matched colors. Get them during National True Test Spring Paint Week exclusively at participating True Value Hardware stores and home centers.
Get ready. Here it comes. The Burger Chef 500. Get your scorecard, collect stickers, and take off. Finish the race and win one of 6 Camaro Z28 styled like the 1982 Indy 500 pace car. Or win over 400,000 instant prizes. The Burger Chef 500. The race anybody can win. So enter today. Kelly Harrison of Anderson, Indiana, just won her Camaro Z28. There have been thousands of winners of thousands of prizes. You could still win one, too, at Burger Chef.
I'm Burley Haywood. Our race team has over $100,000 invested in this race car, so we protect our investment with Kendall Motor Oil.
I don't drive a race car, but I have a big investment of my own to protect. So I use Kendall Superb 100 gas-saving motor oil. Its special friction fighters keep my car running smooth and help save gas. You don't have to own a race car to need Kendall protection. You just have to own a car.
Protect your investment with Kendall Confidence.
What makes this event the premier racing event in the world is its competition. The field is the cream of the crop, backed by outstanding crews and dedicated ownership. Pat Patrick and Roger Penske are uncompromising professionals. Their goals are clear, to be the best. What you're watching here is action, Jim, from the 70s, the 170s, when Johncock and Mears, it became evident they were going to run out.
Could you tell at this point, and I could, but could you tell at this point it'd be a dash to the dual finish?
No, it's interesting. You'll race for 500 miles and you'll win by a 16th of a 100th of a second. You know, that's amazing. Now, what I think here is where Gordy really had it. Now, watch this pit stop. We're going to show you an actual pit stop. Watch this crew here around the 90s. Watch this. Now, you see the black wand-like thing in the left hand now moving to the center of your screen? That's the stopwatch person, and he is going to tap the crew person on the shoulder when he feels it's a green light pit stop, when the crew says, that's enough, we got to get him out and back in the track. Watch the crew. Watch what they do. They know they've gotten it, and they did it. It was short, it was effective as the crew goes wild. Gordy cuts in front here on the white lap, and then he races to the checkered flag with determination. I can't think of a better word.
He knew Mears was there. He knew he was there all the way.
And he still drove. Look at him drive intelligently here. This is a time when Rick Mears, all along, you've heard it before, had the strong machine this month. He had all the speed this month with Gordon Johncock. Look at the experience. He keeps Rick right where he wants him. He certainly has a strong machine. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a strong machine. But watch it as they come back down one more time to the checkered flag at one of the classiest, I'm going to call it the classiest finish in the history of the Indianapolis 500. The winner is Gordon Johncock, and we had a chance to be with the winner just at the moment of victory, which was certainly sweet for him. Look at that, the crowd. You can hear the crowd noise underneath this videotape. It's like a baseball or a football crowd, and normally one of these type crowds, you know, you're going to hear the roar of the engines and you are going to hear the crowd. But watch what happens, the jubilation, the excitement in the winner's circle area. And Jim, I was there and I had goosebumps, and it was just exciting.
I wonder if the crew could anticipate when you get down to the last 20 or 30 laps if this was going to happen. If that pit stop that we showed a little earlier had been the key pit stop.
Yeah, I think so. I think clearly, without a doubt. They know if they're that close at that time, they have to make a classic pit stop. And this is a classic exchange between driver and car owner. There is Pat Patrick there, and of course the winner of the 1982 Indianapolis 500, Gordon Johncock, as they wheel him up to his very nice spot. It's been 1973 the last time that the man was celebrated as the winner, and here he talks about it.
When he pulled up beside me for the white flag lap, I thought, well, this is all he rode. He caught me and he's going to get by me, but I think I had just a little more horsepower than Rick did and was able to continue on. When he got out there and breaking his own clean air, that's where my stronger engine come in, you know, and I was able to ease on ahead of him before we got into the number 1 corner, and he disappeared out of my sight on the left. So I knew that I had him through that corner anyway for that moment. I've been so close here, you know, like in 77 we lacked 16 laps and had a 13-second lead on AJ, and I don't think there's too much question about what we would have won the race. Last year we had 6 laps to go and we broke down. This race we earned, you know, myself and the whole team, just not me, it's my team that put the car together that makes this all possible, and I think we really earned this race. It wasn't given to us.
Really the credit goes to Gordon Johncock. He just flat drove the car, and it's probably the best race ever at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I think it's probably the closest race ever, and Gordy just flat drove it because Rick did have a better car.
I think that's appropriate. Gordon Johncock was a very intelligent race driver today.
Yes, he's a very... I don't think Gordy's ever received the credit due him because he's always been so quiet and reserved, and I think that anybody that saw that race today knows that that's probably one of the best race car drivers in the world.
Well, he ran into the back of Johnson, and then he slowed down, and Gordy, in fact, came on the left, which was smart. And then we sat there, we sat there giving.
You know how sweet your victories were? This is the sweetest ever.
I told McGee, you blew us off.
Ever.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dick Ray draws the fun assignment tonight. He is live at the Johncock Victory Party. Richard.
What's a little bit ironic about this victory party, Ed, is that I'm standing right next to the 1979 winning car, the Norton Spirit, driven by Rick Mears, who, of course, dueled today with the winner, Gordon Johncock. Things a little bit more subdued. Another irony here is that the Norton people are also partying. They, of course, are lashed with the Penske team. But it was a little more exciting here earlier tonight. We got a chance to see Gordon Johncock as he arrived, and let's just let the picture tell the story here as the crowd just went wild as the 1982 Indianapolis 500 winner made his first appearance at the victory party. Was the thrill and the sensation rubbed into you yet?
Well, I don't know if it really has or not, you know. I guess I have to say what I like about it most of all is the way we won the race, you know. We won it fair and square. We didn't have it given to us, and the whole crew, just everybody, you know, everything went our way from the 155th lap on. We really weren't working too good up to that point, but with changing some tires around a little bit and doing a few things, the mechanics in the pits and everybody, the car really started working well about the 155th lap.
There were several challenging points in the race, the last lap, of course. But how about that first lap? I'm sure you had just about as good a view as anybody. What did you have to do to stay out of that situation?
Well, definitely I had a ringside seat for it. We come down pretty slow, and Kevin got on the throttle a little hard, I think, maybe, and was down in a low gear, and the turbocharger kicked in, and it got him sideways. And, you know, with 3 cars wide at the Speedway, it's so narrow, you know, you have no room to correct. If he'd had a little room to correct, he probably would have saved it, but he bumped AJ, and then he went across to the left, and Mario got him broadside.
I know 73, it's always great to win, but there were some bittersweet thoughts back there. This had to be a particularly great win, not only for you, but for your family back home.
Well, it definitely was. You know, there'll never be I don't think there'll ever be another win like this, and even if I win it the 3rd time, I don't think there'll be another win like today, because the first win, you know, it was rain shortened and just a lot of problems that year, and it was a year that everybody really wanted to forget about.
There's your champion, Gordon Johncock, and the celebration goes on and on here at the Victory Celebration. I'm Dick Ray live. Let's go back to Ed.
It's an interesting picture there, Dick, standing next to the Mears car that won earlier. You can have the rest of the night off, Dick. You've been working hard all month. Rick Mears had been accused of setting too slow a pace earlier and therefore contributing to the first incident you saw. Well, a charge that he flatly denies as foolish. Mears ran a classic race, lost to a veteran of years in the wars here at Indianapolis, and finished 2nd.
Think you were going to get him on the last lap? I think if we'd had one more lap, we might have had a shot at him. It was going to be a little tough last lap.
Do you feel the race was won or lost in the pits today?
Well, we got blocked coming into the pits on the last pit stop, on our time stop, which should have been a quick one. I had a slower car in front of me over, and he was running right down the middle of the groove, and I couldn't get on by to get down to my pit, and that knocked added several seconds to our pit stop. And I think had we have had that extra time to work on him another lap or so, we may have been able to get it. But he did a hell of a job.
We ran hard all day, as hard as we could, and Gordy won it, and Rick ran second, and we just, we were there, but we just couldn't win.
Was it disappointment the way you went out of the race?
Well, naturally it was. You always hate to run all day. I'd rather break very early and get it over with. But we were running in there. We weren't setting any records or dashing for the lead, but it was a good effort, I think, on the whole team. Pennzoil Chaparral did themselves proud.
You plan to be back here for a few more years to race here at Indianapolis?
You bet. I plan to be up there in that checkerboard square next year.
The biggest thing about it, Dick, was the grueling endurance it's required. I looked up at one point and saw 62 on the lap board, and I said, was that 62 laps remaining, or that's 62 laps in the race? And it took a lot more stamina than I'd anticipated.
Let's show you the top 10 of a classic race. Not to single anyone else out, Gordon Johncock, #1, he wins it. Starts 4th, wins it.
Second, Rick Mears, he goes the distance. The only two people going the distance, 200. Almost his second victory.
He starts first. Poncho Carter is third, starts 10th, runs 199, finishes the race.
As for fourth, the man who really put up a great fight, Tom Sneeva, the pit stop might have been the difference.
5th, Al Unser, starts 16th, runs 197, still running at the end also.
As for number 6, this guy ran a good race, despite the fact that the Whittington brothers had their share of problems.
And were criticized slightly today. Jim Hickman, as you saw, the highest first-year finisher, starts 24th, still running in the end of the Stross March.
JR will be back with a new car next year and hoping to get in checkerboard square.
He said he was going to be in checkerboard square. We have to take his word for it. Herm Johnson, as you saw the videotape of Rick Mears, was there. He goes 9th, and the 10th place finisher for the top 10 is Howdy Holmes. Incidentally, USAC penalized Bill Whittington and Hector Rabaki today, each 2 laps during the race, for passing under the yellow. Interesting event. All month long, Gordon Johncock was the forgotten driver. All of the attention had been given to the Penske teams and Rick Mears. But tonight, he is the winner of the 1982 Indianapolis 500. Thank you, Jim.
From the Convention Center, Channel 4 proudly presents the 500.